1,000 years ago, spatial rifts began to open up on Earth, from which swarms of evil things emerged. Under the light of the red moon, the age of monsters had arrived. The monsters began to mercilessly destroy the land. The giants could not be resisted by any human weapons. The earth was washed with blood and strewn with bodies. There were only about 100 million people left on Earth, but one last ray of hope had visited Earth. The spirit beast master had a chance to save her. Then people found faith in their own victory. With each new generation of masters, developing and improving their abilities, humanity step by step returned civilization and had a chance to win over the monsters. And I, Lin Yuan, the best of the resistance assassins, was killed, after which moved into a dimension that was home to monsters and became the weakest spirit of the ranked beast. Immature, 10 centimeters tall, weighing just over a kilogram, could at least bite and claw. I met Xiao Heilong. He promised to accompany me and watch my development to make me stronger. It was what I needed. I couldn't afford to be weak when the planet was in danger. I have to become the best and reach the top. There was an airplane in the sky. The agent on board was being contacted by the base. Situation report. Target destroyed, the agent reported. The interior of the plane was strewn with corpses. Quick as you'd expect from a first-class mercenary. That answer turned everything upside down. The assassin snapped into a scream. What's going on? Wolf, you've worked well for the organization all these years, but you know too much. So it was clear. The wolf suddenly calmed down instantly. Take all secrets with you to your grave was the last thing the comms transmitted. The plane filled with the fire of the explosion. The flames turned metal and flesh to ash. Waking up in a cold sweat in your room? Was it really just a dream? Where am I now? Didn't I die in the explosion? It's so unreal. A horrible skull-splitting attack of headache crushed my head. Something seemed to have damaged my brain. Maybe at least hitting the floor would help. 1,000 years ago, when the blood-red moon shone in the sky and cracks opened up everywhere, an era of monsters had come to Earth. Hordes of creatures began mercilessly destroying everything in sight. The weapons of humans were useless against these monsters. After 10 years, there were only 100 million people left on the planet, and soon the entire human race was destined for total extinction. But in a moment of deep despair, there was hope for salvation. The master of the spirits of beasts. Over time, many people have gotten their spirits. With each new generation of beast soul lords, humans inherited and developed their skills, and humanity was able to create a new civilization capable of standing up to the monsters. Each awakened beast has its own rank, from the lowest ear rank to SSS rank. And I, the soul of Lin Yuan's beast, I have no family or friends. I rely on the spirit of the beast to realize myself. While facing merciless ridicule, I get humiliated whenever they want, like a piece of garbage. To be weak is to be humiliated. I get it. I was moved by God because I was brutally murdered in a past life. Suddenly a transparent and levitating copy of me appeared in front of me in a voice foreign to me and asked, "Are you like me but betrayed?" His appearance seemed to paralyze me. If so, leave this cruel world to me. Well, no. Just leaving is kind of depressing. Don't you want revenge? I told him. I'm already dead. And you're the pathetic kid who took over my body. That's very rude to me. That's not what I thought. Pathetic doesn't mean weak. We can't just let the world decide our fate. We must choose our own path. That didn't convince him. Why go on living only to die after another betrayal? Doesn't that hurt? He asked. I am not going for it this time. It used to hurt that I couldn't choose, but now I want to live by my own rules. The spirit said, that's all very nice, but in this garbage body you'll end up like me, sooner or later. But I didn't believe him. If I don't try, I won't know. I continued to simply tell him what I piously believed myself. Even scum can reach the top because my destiny is in my hands. You're weird, said the spirit, and entered my head through my forehead with his finger. I thought I was dying again immediately. However, I was relieved. The light of a clear day smiled at me and whispered, "Keep your word. Avenge me. From this day forward, you are Lin Yuan." Suddenly my breathing and other motor functions returned to me. And it turns out I'd already gotten used to it. Don't worry, I'll keep my promise. I was definitely determined now, but how to become stronger was something I had yet to figure out. After all, the E-rank beast owners in the hierarchy of this world only had low-paying jobs. Living in poverty, at least if nothing comes my way, I'll go back to my old job. Back to being a killer. Well, it's time to meet our beast. A pleasant female voice told me I had mastered the beast evolution system. The beast is awakened. Let's see what we're dealing with. Beast, black lizard. Immature. 10 centimeters tall. Weighs just over a kilogram. Attacks by biting and striking with its claws. Well, at least it's a dangerous reptile. Probably suddenly, an incomprehensible little creature appeared in front of me. Is that my beast? Oh, my God, he's so cute. What's in it for me? Hello, I'm Xiao Heiluan. From now on, I will accompany you and watch your strength grow. So this is my beast? Yes, now we are partners whose bond is built on trust. We'll get along. I was very puzzled by all of this. I don't think he'll be much use to me yet. Where are you going? The beast squeaked. You won't even ask me what I can do for you. I'll ask when the time comes, I said dryly. What time is it? Can I help you? Just tell me. Don't ignore me. It better have as much power as annoyance in it. I hope he'll get lost behind me in the alleys, somewhere nearby. The beautiful Sumu Shue was being pestered by an unpleasant conversation. She ran away from him, but he still caught up with her. The girl rolled her eyes, trying to look as confident as possible. She was good-looking. Turns out she was being harassed by one of those idiots who humiliated me at school. Of course he came here with a pack of idiots just as arrogant as himself. Of course he was extorting the girl to go out with him, even though this time he was holding a bouquet. Naturally, she wasn't interested in fools. But it was as if he didn't hear her. I know you have an S-ranked beast. But you recently awakened it, and I specifically found a couple of B-ranked ones. So, do I deserve what I want? And remembering the supposedly successful thing, he added, oh, right, I also kicked that scumbag's ass, with a cheeky face. He meant Mimu Shue was excited about this. How pleasant. He dared to cross my path because he was too arrogant. You don't know me yet. Only now it's just the two of us and you have nothing else to do but date me, continued the insolent man, boring the beauty, waving the bouquet down in a way. I was there for a reason. I quietly bypassed all the henchmen and made my way over to the jerk before anyone could even realize it. And there was his neck. I gladly grabbed it and squeezed it, watching him gasp for air. Lin Yuan. The head barely squeezed out. Yes, it's me. There you are. Yeah, I've finally found you, big shot, but enough time has passed for even dumbass like his minions to figure out what to do. So I had to let go of my neck and break the distance. Ha, they didn't have time to grab me. Meanwhile, the insolent one has fallen face down on the floor. Tearing up in shame, he immediately ordered his jackasses to kill me. Use the transformation, he yelled. Immediately, the clones turned into ferocious beasts. Elephant, buffalo, rhinoceros, and something else I don't understand. Well, I've certainly got my work cut out for me. Just then, my beast appeared. He explained that evolution points were earned by devouring others, and that winning a battle could earn you a chest of rewards. I didn't want to turn into an ordinary lizard. I wondered. Is that necessary to win? Heiluan was almost hysterical. You want to get hit in a human body? Madman, you'll be killed by the first attack, he shouted. But I knew if I turned, I'd die even faster. I was a killer in a previous life. I think that's enough to handle these four. The strange wolf with the stone-clawed paw decided to strike first. Well, it's understandable the situation was no longer clear to observers. But I was a fish out of water for some reason. The master of beasts began to rejoice. He thought I was finished because I hadn't even turned, but now the dust has settled and the picture of the battle is visible. No one had time to follow my movements, and instantly I found myself sitting on the monster's neck. Now he's finished. I put my hands on his neck in exactly the right position. All that was left was a precise turn. Easy. Crunching and screaming, the first one at my feet choking on blood. And the pretty girl was impressed. That's good. It's a good thing my skills are still intact. This body's a lot weaker than the last one. Congratulations, you have defeated a B-ranked beast. 1 black iron chest has been obtained, my lizard informed me in an already cheerful voice. Put your likes and subscribe. A black chest hung in the air in front of me. Heiluan kindly decided to explain to me what was going on. The chest may contain useful items such as super equipment or skill pumping points. Great, I could use all of that. Well, let's see. Open up, commanded I. It's a random skill book, shouted Lin happily. You can get a random skill. Its level is from E rank to A rank. The chance of getting an A rank skill is 1%. That kind of math is fine with me. It's okay, the main thing is to have the skill, not to E rank, I said and touched the shimmering multicolored thingy. The thing started spinning and suddenly turned into a small bright star in front of us. Oh my, it's daylight, A rank skill dash, the lizard shouted even more excitedly with its cute voice. When the soul beast is activated, you'll be able to emit white light that can melt even steel. Slightly subsiding and already more gloatingly, Lin uttered, its maximum temperature reaches 100,000 degrees Celsius. My beast was overjoyed at my victory. What's more, I was pleased myself. That's amazing. You're so lucky. Why don't we buy a lottery ticket? Oh, I wish he'd known about my good fortune. But now was not the time to celebrate. The enemies, though frozen with surprise, were slowly coming to their senses. They still outnumbered us. Kill him. I will give you 10 million. The mercantile and stupid beasts, after these words of their leader, stubbornly followed me. They will pay for their greed. Lin Yuan, let me summon a beast too and help. Is Mu Shui the one offering to help me? There's no need for that. Go far away from here, I commanded her. She is one of the few people who are kind to me. I won't let her be harmed. I began to be attacked. A giant funnel of beast bodies moved towards me. But I was faster. Even though I was sweating, I dodged all the blows, each of which would have smashed my head to mush. Gotcha. The rhinoceros horn was in a convenient place to become a foothold for me. Swinging around and squinting to get a better aim, I hit the elephant with the edge of my palm right between the eyes. Blood spurted. All I had to do was give him a good, hard kick with my foot. Push him down, or what do they say? The huge animal carcass hit the ground, splitting the soil beneath it. Lin hurriedly congratulated me again. Victory, 1 black iron treasure chest has been obtained. That's great. Don't think that I'm the same as the past, Lin Yuan. But I wasn't done yet. Taking advantage of my opponent's hesitation, I decided to make the most of it. It worked. It always works. The animals only had time to be impressed by my speed before I bumped their heads together. Oh, yeah, their skulls crunched like chips. No way, screamed their vile owner, looking at his defeated minions. Oh, there he was, begging for mercy. But it was too late. I wasn't going to spare his kind. The scream of my punishment echoed around the area. Let's go. Briefly, I tossed to the cutie. Impressed with my strength, she obeyed me, looking back at the humiliated, insolent man lying on the ground, who 5 minutes ago had been giving her a hard time. No one else could bother her. Shameful thoughts were running through her beautiful head, so embarrassing. As the sole master of the S-rank beast, I was supposed to protect him. And he saved me. I didn't even realize he was that strong. I felt her gaze on me. It made me a little uncomfortable, I have to admit. Is there something on my face? Why are you looking at me like that? I asked her. No, I just wanted to thank you. And here the girl got a little embarrassed. I'm sorry for dragging you into all this. That seemed fine to me. We're classmates and we're supposed to help each other out, I told her. I thought we were friends, she said flirtatiously. Yeah, I was confused. Nothing better than what? I couldn't say. Women are always good at picking these moments. Good women. No, nothing. It's getting late, I'll go first. See you at school tomorrow, Fu Shui sang in her sweet voice and waved goodbye. You're very lucky, said my lizard, looking at my new friend walking away. Don't be ridiculous, I answered her. She's one of the friends of the original owner of the body. If it belongs to me now, then by all means, it's up to me to protect her. It's time to talk about our case. I think my look scared Lin. What kind of look did he expect from a former assassin? After arriving home, it was time for the test. After doing the household chores, I proceeded to assess my abilities. Beast soul activation. A strange feeling swept over me, but, goodness, not unpleasant. Yeah, the result wasn't very inspiring. In the monster world, you're only an appetizer at most, Lin said. He was right here, no wonder my beast soul was called trash. Lin Yuan felt that this was his finest hour. Need help? He asked brightly. I had no choice but to listen to him. You can absorb and earn exaltation points and use them for reinforcement. And you just got points from the chest. What do you mean by absorb? I asked. Eat it, replied Lin Yuan cheerfully and pointed at the completely inedible thing. What does he mean by that? I mean, you have to eat meat. Beast souls are just like normal animals. You need to eat a lot of protein first. Remember that you need to keep in shape and eat it raw. MDA is not the most pleasant thing on the road to the top in mastery. Eat faster. You'll get stronger right away, Lin Yuan motivated me. Once again, he got it right. Yes, it's all about getting stronger. Without appetite, but with eyes burning with enthusiasm, I devoured a chicken carcass. You have successfully consumed fresh chicken meat. 5 points of exaltation gained. Looking at the shiny licked plate, pronounced my beast helper used them to grow. Oh, yeah, I'd love to. My body began to grow rapidly and flesh out. Yeah, my fangs are stronger and stronger and my claws are sharper. Great, since it's working, I'll throw a meat party tonight. Lin Yuan was thrilled with the idea. All night I devoured wild rabbits. I ate about 100 or so. I now weighed 540 kilograms and grew to 3 meters. Good, but not the limit. I'm now a beer rank. That's good. Sitting in class, I wasn't thinking about class at all. My beast is much bigger now. I didn't think that not only the level but also the talent would increase. Even though I'm not so insignificant anymore, it's not enough. I need to get more points. And when I'm even bigger, I need to find a secluded place so I don't attract attention. I am reborn and will climb to the top of this world. Hey, a cocky voice called out to me rudely. And there was more than one cocky voice. Again, a group of snooty guys were trying to get at me. Li Feng and Jiang Lei. Those bastards harass a lot. Do you want to know why they're such assholes? It's simple. Among them is the Wuxuan, master of one of the 2 S-ranked beast souls in our school. Trash, how many times do I have to tell you again? Come here, don't keep us waiting long. You should be happy we're letting you do something for us. Get it, scumbag? No one is allowed to talk to anyone like that. Especially me. But I gave them a chance to leave. Fuck off should be enough for them. Are you out of your depth, boy? It seemed to hit me. Don't you understand words? As calmly as possible, I continued my so-called communication. Oh, Wu Mo Xian himself deigned to say something in my direction this time. You're so cocky today. I can finish off your lizard with ease, so don't show off. Oh, what a heartfelt speech. Trash should stay in the dumpster. It's a shame our school has such a weak animal soul like you. If I were you, I'd be dead in a ditch by now. What a heartfelt speech. How are you gonna eat that? I'm going to live happily ever after, I said as indifferently as possible, looking him straight in the eye. The boy immediately darkened. I'll make you change your mind. He seemed nervous already. Try. A door slammed. A confident female voice ordered, "Students, please take your seats." The charming Zhang Yu, the class teacher, entered the classroom. Wu Mo pretended that nothing was going on, but gritted his teeth in my direction. You're lucky today, but you'd better not get lucky. My lizard was marveling at my stamina. Yes, the guy was a S-rank beast soul, but sooner or later I'll finish him off, I said in as cold a voice as possible to make more of an impression on Lin Yuan. Zhang Yu started the lesson. I will now hand out the school's cultivation resources. It's called a beast soul crystal. This was interesting. Beast soul crystals are the transformed blood and flesh of a monster after its death. They are usually divided into high, medium, low and worst ranks. They contain energy within them that is suitable for absorbing beast souls and greatly enhancing their abilities. Lin Yuan's erudition shone through as usual. Simply put, as Lin Yuan explained, these crystals were currency in the world of masters. Even low-rank soul crystals were already expensive. The school will distribute beast soul crystals according to the ranking of your awakened beast souls. This is to show you how cruel the world of beast soul masters is. The strong are at the top, the weak are weeded out. Survival of the fittest is the grand justice in the world of the masters of souls. I liked this cutie's lessons. Wu Xian, awakened beast soul, is a S-rank reptilian skeleton king receives 10 high-ranked beast soul crystals. Wu Xian is the master of one of the 2 S-rank beast souls in our school. The other Sumu Shui, the teacher, was clearly proud of him. Even though you have climbed this high, never relax. With your talent, if you develop gradually, you can become the master of the beast soul, she lovingly admonished him. The distribution of crystals continued. Jiang Lei, awakened soul giant stone beetle A rank. You will receive 5 mid-rank soul crystals, and so on. Finally the turn came to me. Lin Yuan, awakened beast soul black lizard ear-ranked beast soul, receives 5 worst soul crystals. I could feel the others cheering behind me. They could not shake my determination to become a master. Thank you, teacher. I thank the school for what it gave me. Do your best, Zhang Yu said calmly. Wu Mo was particularly triumphant. A soul crystal of the worst quality? I don't even want this kind of trash to be given away for free, but it's fine for someone. He Luan as usual suggested that the lowest crysts of the spirits are formed when monsters are destroyed by nuclear weapons and their flesh and blood is contaminated by nuclear radiation after death. But they contain tremendous energy that my devouring ability can absorb. This will be useful, that's alright. I'll gift you a high-rank beast soul crystal from me. That's good too. But perhaps not what I need. Thank you, teacher. But can I ask you to replace the high-rank crystal with a lower-rank crystal? The teacher was immediately indignant. I know you're in a hurry to increase the power of the beast's soul, but you can't feed it too many extremely harmful crystals. It was nice to receive concern from her. Then I gratefully accepted what she had already given me. Wu Mo was depressed. He didn't understand how Zhang Yu could be so favorable to me since my talent was negligible. My lizardess offered me to trade my crystal for 100 lower-ranked soul crystals. After school, I go to the Beast Soul Palace. The exchange takes place there. Lin Yuan Sumu Shui's angelic voice tore me away from my thoughts. Let's go home together after school, I have something to tell you. Okay, as usual, she caught me off guard. I just heard from the principal that the guy who bullied me quit school, so great. From the side, I watched as Wu Xian's gang followed my conversation with Sumu. They were really sick. They had no idea why a S-rank beast soul possessor was talking to me, and in such a friendly manner too. Wu Xian was seething with anger as he watched everything that was happening. In the evening after school he crossed my path, leading a gang of his kind. Of course his questions were so funny. What kind of spell potion did you put on, teacher? What sneaky means did you use to get close to Sumu Shui? Last time I got that rich guy to hold her back so I could then heroically step in and be the savior. He was yelling and I wanted to laugh. So this was Lin Yuan's main enemy. Wu continued to yell, "You're a worthless weakling, why is Sumu Shui with you?" He grabbed me by the pecs and started telling me what I could and couldn't do. But I didn't want to punch him. The teacher is nice to me, I don't want to give her a hard time. Wu finally thought of something interesting. For someone as arrogant as me, I'll make an exception. I don't want Sumu Shui to think that I beat up weaklings. I'll just open her eyes to the fact that you're scum. Tell you what, if you pass the 7-day beast test, I'll eat a bag of inferior crystals. If you lose here, he smirked, you will disappear from my sight. I was getting excited. Are you sure you can do it? I asked. Why would I be afraid to argue with a scum like you? Asked Yao Mu in a satisfied tone. All in all, it was clear to me. I'd easily take down this badass, whatever this test of the beast was. Well, then, it's a deal. In the evening, Sumu Shui happily greeted me at the Animal Palace. She asked me why I was late. I thought that she didn't need to know right now, so why did you call me? She laughingly replied, nothing important. I have an S-rank animal soul, so the school gave me 10 high-quality crystals, and I want to share half of it with you. That was very nice of her. But why did she choose to do that? I heard you only got the low-ranking ones because of the fact that you have Airang's beastly soul. That marriage when you stood up for me was so cool. How only the school could give you low-ranking crystals, enthusiastically embraced the beauty. But I was forced to deny her, however. Sumu Shui fervently objected. I heard that the difficulty of the beast trial is no joke at all, even a B rank can fail. I don't need that much, but you absorb them, it will help you a lot. I asked, aren't you afraid that if you give me half of the crystals, you won't be able to pass the test? The beauty smiled mysteriously and replied, I have a 5-ranked girl's spirit, I can pass it even without the soul crystals. She charged me with her enthusiasm and I gave in. How about this? I cannot tell you the reason, but if we can get there. Testing, I'll accept your offer. She, to my delight, was very pleased. Deal, she agreed in a ringing voice. Then I should get to practicing, because if I fail no good will come of it. I was surprised at how quickly time flew by with her. I really wanted to impress this beauty. She will be shocked by my strength when the day of the beast's trial comes. My beast, Lin Yuan giggled at me. Wow, she cares for you so much, let him keep his jokes. You talk nonsense. Take me to the beast's soul palace. Let Lin Yuan not relax. He seemed to be a little hurt by this. The beast's soul palace greeted me with the splendor of its architecture in the light of the setting sun. Lin Yuan clarified when we went inside that the trial would be held in this particular palace reserved for beast soul masters only. It was time to get busy with the crystal exchange. Here comes the overweight cheater. He was extremely surprised to hear that I was going to swap high-quality crystal for low-quality ones, because he thought they were garbage. I was able to exchange the crystal my teacher gave me for 100 low-quality ones. The commission fee amounted to 500 coins. It's no big deal. Lin Yuan was worried I'd be considered crazy. Well, there's a fine line between genius and insanity. Finding a secluded, abandoned warehouse outside of town, I transformed. Yes, my abilities had increased significantly. My talent was already B-ranked. I pulled out and decided to examine the crystals I'd traded. They glowed a radioactive purple color, shimmering and glittering slightly. Beautiful things. Received 1,000 evolution points. Lin Yuan nearly fainted from my ability to absorb nuclear radiation. Now my progress will be much faster, for one crystal gave as many evolutionary points as 200 chickens. And the 100 stones I have will give 100,000 evolutionary points. Each talent level is divided into 9 stars. My current level is 7 stars. Rank Emperor. This was above the ranks such as Lord, Beast Master, Beast General and Battle Beast ranks. With that kind of strength, I don't see the Beast's challenge as difficult. A week later, the time of the test came. An impressive bunch of people gathered in the square in front of the palace. Everyone was a Beast Spirit Master. And most of them were gripped with excitement about the upcoming event. Everyone was worried about the amount of strength they had, but they all clearly distinguished only 2 S-ranked beasts this year. Wu Mo Xian and Sumu Shui. Wu Mo Xian was happy to see me, not surprising since he was surrounded by his usual mutts. He immediately noticed that my skills had increased. Are you ready? I asked him. My beast soul has already reached the 8 stars of the battle beast level, and I will pass the test with ease, said Wu Mu with smugness. But that's not what I asked. I felt it necessary to clarify, since this dimwit probably didn't understand me. I asked if you were willing to eat low-quality crystals. And then I smiled broadly. Wu Mu Xian nearly fell off his feet from such audacity, and the crowd gasped. To be honest, I was pleased with myself. The 3rd floor was the examination area. A mechanical voice said, Exam number 95821, examinee Lin Yuan, please prepare for the exam. The stern examiner clarified in an unpleasant voice, You awakened the beast soul of the year ring? Yes, I calmly replied. Good luck, he wished me discreetly. His face was clearly doubtful that I would have any success. I gratefully said, Thank you, teacher. I took my seat in the exam chair, a rather technological gizmo, and a pleasant machine voice said, Combat simulation about to begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The environment I found myself in immediately forced me to bring myself to my senses and sharpen my perception. Barren desert. Boundless sands. I don't seem to have a terrain advantage I can take advantage of. A rumbling howl sounded in the distance. A huge silhouette loomed on the horizon and began to approach rapidly. It was accompanied by a voluminous rumbling sound. It was a 3-star battle beast, a desert wolf. The opponent of the first stage of the beast trial. It looked far from weak, and its movements had a sense of animal agility and power. The monster let out a deafening roar. It didn't frighten me, but it made my eardrums tense. As he approached me, I had already replayed several plans for my victory in my head. Using the enemy's energy against himself, dodging, precision strike, and that's it? Why is this beast so weak? Lin, even though he had time to realize that I had dealt with him without difficulty, he still asked if I wanted to merge with the beast soul. But against such low-level beasts, it wasn't necessary. After all, this opportunity allowed me to stretch my muscles well, which was also important. Meanwhile, the examiner watching me fight was amazed. This guy passed the first level? Well, I was going to go much further and my abilities allowed it. Again and again the opponents appeared again and again exposed and fell at my feet. The examiner called out to his colleague. It seems that by watching me, they found something interesting to look at. The examiner cried out in bewilderment and admiration, "What the hell is going on? He killed a 3-star desert wolf without using the beast soul power?" But they were even more surprised when they noticed that I hadn't even merged with the soul of the beast yet. I had prepared well for this challenge and felt good about myself. My observers and my opponents felt it fully. My punches were accurate and strong. Little by little, the beast's muzzle was turning to mush, and the beast's energy was being drained more and more. My muscles were getting a good workout. The beast, even on the verge of defeat, did not relent and I did not have to relax. Every second I could get a blow that would put an end to my future and I tried to read everything well, but the monster backed up, and I kicked with all my might into its solar plexus. Blood spurted from its collapsed body. The examiners couldn't come to their senses watching this. He's just a monster. Defeating 3-star desert wolves without fusing with a beast soul is unprecedented. His partner almost got hysterical. "Do you think he's cheating?" he asked. "After all, the purpose of the exam is to believe the power of the beast soul, and he didn't even use it." The first one calmed down a bit. "It does go against the rules, but it's not cheating. Let's see if he passes the 3rd level. If not, he'll fail the beast test, because that's the key one. The first 2 are just preparation." Regaining his composure a bit, the examiner continued, "It is almost impossible to pass the 3rd level without resorting to the power of the beast soul. Even with the strength he is showing now. The talent rating of his beast soul is only Yirang. However, if the beast soul is stronger, his future will be promising." Lin Yuan, appearing suddenly with concern, advised, "Save your strength, these enemies are just an appetizer, the real test is yet to come." Another wolf suddenly appeared in front of me, but it was much larger than the previous ones. His eyes were burning with flames, and heat was coming out of his nostrils. It was covered in flames all over its fur. Lin Yuan shouted out in fright, "6-star desolate wolf king." Admittedly, I too was taken aback at the sight of such an imposing opponent. To defeat a beast of this caliber requires a high level of beast soul talent. There's a reason they say that only candidates with beast souls of A rank and above are able to pass the beast test in the first year of training. The anticipation of a great test of my abilities gave me strength and vigor. It was time to show my true strength. Merging with the beast soul, I shouted with supreme strength. Lin Yuan squeaked happily. Finally, the fusion energy began to consume my body and transform it with blue flames into a new, more powerful being. A huge black lizard of 10 meters tall towered over the upcoming battlefield. I had gained 3.5 tons of mass, and my talent level had risen to S rank. Lin Yuan congratulated me on my excellent form. I joyfully greeted him with a deafening roar. My opponent, the desert wolf, looked up at me from below and was clearly chilled, seeing my shadow blocking the sun from him. One examiner asked the other, "You didn't make a mistake in your examination, did you? He's definitely got an earring." "I'm not blind," replied the other irritably. "If you don't believe me, check his registration card." The tension in the exam room was rising. My ticket showed an ear-ranked beast. But my examiners saw a giant beast of rank no less than a general on the battlefield. The teachers realized that my talent was at least S-ranked. Or maybe even SS or SSS rank. My tempered by trials and radiation crystals looked majestic and powerful. My power was obvious, but the desert wolf didn't even think of giving up. He prepared himself for a heavy and extremely dangerous fight. He bared his fangs, and the flames in his eyes grew even more intense. With a deafening scream, the monster lunged in an attacking leap right at me, displaying many sharp and strong fangs against me. I swung my paw to strike. A hit with even one of my claws was fatal to most of the creatures on the entire planet. I was huge, but I wasn't clumsy. My paw came down with great speed on the desert wolf and smashed it to the ground, flattening one half of it and sending the other half flying away. The observers poured sweat at the sight of such a spectacle. Killed a 6-star beast in a second. Their shock was hard to put into words. One of them hurried to the chief examiner. The other began to carefully record the data about my fight. Rushing to the chief examiner, the teacher thought, finally our Jingha city has a shocking super talent. The silhouettes of new opponents loomed on the horizon. There were a lot of them, but they were just wolves. The degree of difficulty of this exam was disappointing. Lin Yuan said, the first 3 levels are needed to get a passing score. Keep fighting to get a higher grade. Many famous universities recruit beast soul masters based on the results of the beast test. I quickly regarded the rapidly approaching opponents. A 6-star Desolate Wolf King and a DSAT 3-star IT. Seems that this level tests the fighting ability of soul masters. That's great. I roared with the joy of the coming battle. This is nothing to me. The enemies running behind paused, and the blood of the dismembered corpses I was turning their pack members into splattered in their eyes in the blink of an eye. I made a dash for it. And in the next moment, my monstrous paw would flatten another opponent to the ground, turning him into a mixture of meat and bones. Without having time to understand anything, paralyzed with horror, opponents died one after another under the blows of my monstrous paws. I was still tired and there was no one left on the battlefield but me. Only the torn carcasses of my enemies. I was already anxious to move on. The real test of my strength was yet to come. How many more levels are there? I shouted into the air. Chief Examiner Zhao Shanhe panted out of breath and arrived at the place to observe my fight. Why did you call me? What's the rush? Don't you know that observers are not allowed to leave the examination area without permission? The strict chief examiner looked and spoke impeccably. It took a lot of courage to dare to disobey him. But my case was too exceptional to be ignored by the chief examiner. Naturally, Zhao Shanhe questioned the need to summon him. After all, many people exceed their capabilities during actual combat. But the chief examiner was immediately taken aback when he heard that Lin Yuan's talent was ear rank. This caused him to smile. This kid is a daredevil, he said. Immediately, he changed from mercy to anger. And you summoned me just because of a student who awakened earring soul? The junior examiner excused himself. Mr. Zhao, first look at his fight, then draw conclusions. Zhao Shanhe turned to the observation screen with irritation, incredulously asking, was the Earang Beast Soul Master really able to pass the test? Yes, I could. My giant figure towered over the battlefield, symbolizing my dominance. Cold sweat rolled down the forehead of the chief examiner from what he saw on the monitor screen, and his fists clenched in tension. Zhao Shanhe excitedly asked the question, are you sure he has an ear rank? Now he understood why the examiners had left their seat against the rules, risking punishment, to call him here. Watching in the monitor as I was surrounded by nearly a dozen opponents on the battlefield at the same time, the chief examiner uttered, I think he has the strength of at least a beast general. And right now, he's at the 10th level of the trial. The most interesting part was just beginning, as the 10th level was the last and most difficult, as each of the 10 rival wolves had the power of a 7-star battle beast. Zhao Shanhe wondered aloud softly, either to himself or to those around him, if he can pass the 10th level, will that be the proof that he possesses the strength of a beast general? Everyone without exception who is able to pass the 10-level test is a genius, so the top universities will start fighting for him. The chief examiner, imagining my future successes, was gradually filled with pride that his school had such an outstanding student, because he already realized that I would become at least a master of the beast soul of the Lord rank, and as a maximum I can reach the beast soul rank of emperor. This assumption made the nearby junior examiners tremble. After returning from the delicious dream world, Zhao Shanhe decided to focus and watch me pass the current, 10th level of the test. There was silence in the examination room. And I thought the final stage of the ability assessment would be the head of monsters, but there are only 10 desert wolf kings here. I was expecting a tougher challenge. 10 desert wolves froze, sizing me up and preparing for a fight, picking their spots to strike. Smiling, looking at them, I said a dismissive TS in their direction. I was about to end this pause. I threw myself at them first, even though they were outnumbered. To me, they were trash, just trash. The desert wolf kings died one by one under my lightning fast and merciless blows. Not one of them could dodge or even break the distance. Each of my blows hit its target. Number doesn't matter if they're all just a bunch of garbage. But I only had 4 limbs, which meant the others had time to attack while their tribesmen were dying. To their credit, they were not afraid to attack me. Their fangs sank into my body in dozens, but they couldn't bite through it. They crunched and snapped, and I scattered my helpless opponents. The desert wolves attacked me relentlessly, but they couldn't hurt me. I discarded the lucky ones and finished off those who came under my crushing attack. The exam room watched the fight closely and were impressed with my capabilities. They were amazed that I could withstand the attacks of 7-star beasts. They noted with admiration that attack, defense, speed, all my skills were at a perfect level. Zhao Shanha, after a meaningful pause, slowly said while watching me annihilate my opponents, "If it's really an E-level talent, then I'll go and kill myself." Hotly and excitedly he finished his sentence. I calmly counted the surviving but exhausted and beaten opponents. 6 more. Too few for me to be interested in them, therefore, I decided to finish them off quickly. As I began to accumulate my energy for the reception, the ground at the battle site shook and the air howled, filling my lungs with the speed of the wind. Not only my enemies but also the examiners trembled when they saw the power with which I fought. These opponents posed no threat to me. A further fight couldn't really test my strength. I was no longer interested in fighting them. I'll build up enough strength now. The desert wolves squinted, having been blinded by the bright flash from the flames that were coming at them in a wall. Before they realized what was happening, in the last fraction of an instant of their lives, a wave of light and energy began to dismantle their bodies into small pieces. I decided to finish them all off in one fell swoop, one strong technique that crushed everything it came in contact with. I decided to finish them all off in one fell swoop with one powerful technique that crushed everything it came in contact with. When I finished performing the technique, there was not even a wet spot left in the place of my enemies, only desert rocks exposed from under the sand, charred and burnt. Holy crap, what kind of technique is this? The exam room was clearly witnessing such a performance for the first time. Even the chief examiner, Zhao Shanha, couldn't utter a single word as he watched me fight burning chunks of rock, and the remains of my rivals' bodies crackled where I had struck. The earth seemed to be resting after the ordeal I'd given it. I heard my name. "Testi Lin Yuan," said the mechanical voice, "you have successfully passed all the stages of the beast test." While I was pleased that I passed the test completely, it was still a lot easier for me than I had expected. Since I passed the last level, I'm assured of a good grade. How many people will be surprised when they hear the results? A thought ran through my head. I didn't know I'd made so much noise at the time. After all, I thought, even Yao Mo Xian with S-rank talent definitely couldn't pass the beast test. I want to take this opportunity to let all the universities see that even an E-rank beast soul can possess tremendous strength. A suddenly appearing satisfied Haloan summed up, "The exam is over." I woke up in the exam chair. The virtual reality devices were removed from me and I sat comfortably with a satisfied smile. As I looked at the examiners, I was taken by surprise by the faces of the head and junior examiners who were at a loss for words. Looking at my information card, which the program had automatically modified based on the data from the real combat simulation, the teachers could not get their heads around what I had provided them to see at the age of 18, less than 2 weeks after awakening his beast soul. He had reached the rank of a 3-star beast general. Such power is simply terrifying. Their deeply impressed thoughts rang out. Zhao Shanha was the first to turn to me. "Congratulations, you have passed all the levels of the beast trial. Do you know what that means? Does it mean I got a good grade?" I asked. "More than good, you promise talent and power. I'm sure that the universities of Yanjing Stars and in the city of Mo will copeb-novate for you," said Zhao hotly. "Okay, so when will the results be released?" This bothered me more now. One of the junior examiners replied to me, "If nothing happens, the lists will be announced this afternoon." Looking at my reaction, he thought, usually others are excited or joyful, but he is too calm now that my business here is done. I thought I'd take my leave. I said to the examiners, "Thank you. If that's all, I'll be on my way." My calmness now seemed to impress even the chief examiner, who had seen a lot. "Wait," he said to me sharply as I turned to leave. "Anything else?" I asked back. "Why is your talent only in Iranga? Was there something wrong during the awakening of your beast soul?" Zhao asked logical questions. "If you have any problems, please contact me and I will help you." Getting a reputation with the chief examiner is very helpful. I answered him honestly, "No, my animal soul was really weak at the time of awakening. that's why I was given an ear ink, you were worrying for nothing. As I left, there was an unusual dialogue in the exam room. Chief Examiner, do you think this guy was telling the truth? Zhao didn't hesitate to answer, it doesn't look like he's lying. But I was surprised by his temper. After achieving some impressive results, he did not behave in a high-handed manner, which is very commendable, said the Chief Examiner as he looked me over. A little later, he added, in the future, there will be another Beast Soul Master with great strength. As I walked out of the palace, I was greeted by bright sunshine and an equally large crowd of clamoring people. Everyone was excited and worried about their trial results. I heard a familiar voice say, Lin Yuan, I'm here. Turning around in the direction of the voice, I saw joyfully bouncing Sumu Shui, who was waving her hand above her to attract my attention. When she saw me, she rushed towards me. It wasn't that I wasn't happy to see her, it was just that I couldn't find anything better to say than, how is it? Did you pass the exam? Of course I passed. And the grades aren't bad, she replied loudly. Sumu Shui was not only excited about her grades. How many levels have you passed? I asked her 9, she replied. Wow, really not bad. I was genuinely pleased with her progress. But at the same time, I didn't expect her to pass 9 levels. It seems her strength had increased more than I had anticipated. I noticed some confusion in Sumu Shui's eyes. It seemed like she wanted to ask about my grade, but she didn't know how, for fear of offending me. After all, she had assumed that as an ear anchor, I was unlikely to pass the first level. Well, in that case, she'll be very surprised later. She's hardly suggesting that I even completed the trial. I decided to dispel the awkwardness hanging in the air and said, come on, the exam is over, let's not think about grades. I invite you to dinner to celebrate your success. To my delight, she was happy with the idea. Well then I want a big plate of noodles, replied Sumu Shui cheerfully. I was surprised by her modesty. Just a bowl of noodles? I interjected. I'm so hungry I'll eat anything you give me. Well, the situation is clear, and then I remembered the results. This restaurant is too far away, we won't miss the announcement of the lists, right? But Sumu was quick to reassure me, in any case, the results have already been decided, and what's announced is just a ranking. Well, no matter how things turn out, no one can beat me. So this is something to celebrate, and in such good company. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there were a large number of Beast Soul Masters in front of the Beast Soul Palace, waiting for the results of the Beast trial to be announced. Amidst the crowd, one uncultured guy was impudently pushing through, receiving curses at his back. This was Wu Mo Xian from Zhenhai High School, an S-rank Beast Soul Master. Wu Mo Xian considered his results in this trial as the reason for his arrogance. This time, he had passed the 7 levels just like last year's winner. From the looks of him, he had no doubt that no one had beaten him. The gawkers whispered after recognizing him, he must be this year's top candidate. The S-rank Beast Soul talent is terrifying. Wu Mo Xian was happily basking in the rays of his fame, considering himself an outstanding personality. I've been preparing for this exam. I even asked my parents to buy me an expensive pill to maximize the potential of the animal soul in a short period of time, he thought to himself. This was when he remembered Lin Yuan, that is, me. Not finding me within sight, he publicly stated that Lin Yuan was most likely hiding, having embarrassed himself by challenging him. Wu Mo Xian's henchmen immediately started making silly jokes about my cowardice, sincerely convinced that they were right. Wu Mo Xian was already happy that I had obtained the status of a coward, because this way he was better than me in the fight for Sumu Shui's favor. After laughing, he was surprised to hear Sumu Shui's voice. 3:54 when he turned around, he saw us, fed up and walking merrily along. His teeth seemed to grit with anger, and there was a reason why, because our whole look made it clear that we were having a great time together. Envy enveloped Wu Mo Xian to such an extent that his face became the color of a tomato and steam came out of his nostrils. He was very indignant at my impudence to appear in front of him accompanied by Sumu Shui. Of course he immediately headed towards me. Hey, isn't that Lin Yuan? You're so calm, it looks like your test score isn't bad either. What, other than sneering, can one expect from this weirdo? I nonchalantly replied, yeah, I'm totally fine with it. Wu Mu Xian's minions came to the aid of Wu Mu Xian, who was taken aback by my lack of emotional reaction, and immediately began to primitively tease me. Ha 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 ha, don't be so embarrassed, the fact that Irang had the courage to participate in the exam is already very good. Sumu Shui was slowly starting to get sick of this. Wu Mu Xian solemnly pulled out what he thought was his trump card from his sleeve. Lin Yuan, you haven't forgotten about our bet, have you? I waited for him to ask that. But to piss him off more, I said, before you tell me, I almost forgot. Now that you mention it, are you ready to lose to me? What a weirdo, he should be used to me raising the stakes all the time. How the hell can I lose to a scumbag like you? The great clock on the palace struck 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Excited voices were heard from all sides. The lists have been posted. The exam results have been announced. The crowd of Beast Soul Masters stirred and began to bustle around the Beast Test results board. Pushing through the crowd to the results board, Wu Mu Xian wanted to see as quickly as possible that he was this year's champion. He already felt like a champion, but after looking at the data on the table, he instantly turned black. He was speechless when the scoreboard showed Wu Mu Xian. 3rd place. Ziznaka couldn't believe his eyes. I got 3rd place? I can't believe it. There are 2 more in front of me. For a few seconds he stood looking at his name and place and trying to accept a reality new to him where he was not the champion. Finding his strength, he ventured to see who had overtaken him. But even here the surprises were not over for him. In 2nd place was Sumu Shui, who was able to pass the 9th level. The owner of the talking beast didn't expect that the fragile-looking beauty would beat him by 2 levels. Wu Mu Xian's head was feverishly thinking, if she went through 9 levels and only ranked 2nd, then what's the monster on the first one? His eyes refused to see that name on the result board. But still, they had to do so, and then Wu Mu Xian almost fainted. The result table read, Lin Yuan. Score, passed the 10 levels of the beast test. Ziznaya was willing to fall through the ground to avoid seeing it. Thoughts raced haphazardly through his mind. How is this possible? How could he go 10 levels with his beast soul Irang? Meanwhile, the beast masters began to discuss the winners. The general recognition of the merits of Lin Yuan, that is, me, was slowly spreading among the disciples. Everyone understood that only exceptional fighters could pass all 10 levels of the trial. Wu Mu Xian wanted to hide from the mocking voices of the crowd around him, wanted to hide from the results, and the world in general. He was getting what he deserved, because everyone could see that Wu Mu Xian had turned up his nose the most before the results were announced. Well, why should I feel sorry for him? He made his own choice. I said to him in a deliberately polite way, like I said, you've lost. Isn't it time to honor the terms of the bet? Seeing him completely shattered, I thought it was a good time to have some fun and asked without hiding my mockery, would you rather eat the bag of inferior crystals dry or serve them seasoned? But then a crowd came to the loser's rescue. Recognizing me, all the masters shouted, here he is, Lin Yuan. The 1st place winner Sumu Shui was also puzzled. Of course, she believed in me, but she definitely didn't expect my result to be this good. That's why he wasn't surprised when I said my results, the girl thought, but the question is, how did he do it? Wu Mu Xian squealed with all his might, impossible. The guy was clearly losing his nerve and should have pulled himself together, but he didn't even try after all. He had come up with a brilliant idea that explained everything. Pointing his finger in my direction, he yelled, how did an ear-ranked scumbag get that result? You cheated. There's a great expression, woe to the loser, and Wu Mu Xian's behavior made his situation even worse. The disciples murmured indignantly as the accusation of cheating was no joke. I confess, I too was pissed off by the slander that the impudent man tried to cover me with. Cheated? I asked sharply. Do you really think I'd cheat to win? Wu Mu Xian, however, clung to this as his lifeline from the swamp of shame. But you have a beast soul Irang, then how did you manage to pass the 10 levels of the beast trial? He yelled back angrily to everyone. Unfortunately, a crowd was a crowd, even if it was a crowd of beast soul masters. The disciples began to talk amongst themselves, was it really possible for a beast soul wielder of only E rank to be able to pass all 10 levels? Lin Yuan noted disappointedly that there were now doubts that he and I would win. But that didn't scare me. After all, nowhere in the reference books does it say that an E-rank beast soul can't pass the exam. That's what I said. Wu Mu Xian did not persist, don't be a self-promoter. I will file a petition with the Beast Soul Palace Court. I will expose the nefarious methods that you have used him. I didn't have time to ask about the trial. But Lin Yuan explained to me, politely and in good time as always, that if the candidates had any doubts about the evaluation, they could go to the court of the Palace of the Animal Soul. Anyway, you can do whatever you want, but if it turns out that I'm clean, you won't forget to fulfill the terms of the bet, I told Wu Muxian firmly so that he wouldn't be in a hurry to rely on the trial. But the man was already being carried away. Suddenly, a question as loud as a wild bear's roar resounded throughout the entire square. What's all this hullabaloo outside the palace? Zhao Shana made the murmuring crowd of masters stop their clamor with his aura alone. You bet, because the suppression power belonged to a Lord-ranked Beast Soul Master, as Lin Yuan had suggested. Everyone present fell silent for a second, and after a moment, they were greeted with a buzz of enthusiastic exclamations from the chief examiner, Zhao Shana, whose big ferocious bear had reached the level of a 7-star lord, a talented master from Jinhai who had come here as an examiner. I hear someone wants to go to court, said the master loudly and expressively. His look expressed the determination and ferocity of his beastly soul. Wu Muxian timidly raised his voice. I want to file a lawsuit. I believe that Lin Yuan's student evaluation is unfounded. This guy clearly had a talent for finding trouble on his own head. Pointing his finger at me and almost crying he recounted, he awakened the beast soul of Irang, but being able to pass 10 levels is unacceptable. Zhao Shana confidently replied, it just so happens that I was present at the Lin Yuan exam and observed everything that happened from the beginning to the end. I did not find anything unusual. The chief examiner furrowed his eyebrows and asked sternly, or are you saying that I helped him cheat? Wu Muxian swallowed his tongue as he tried to answer the master with anything at all. Gathering his strength, he stretched out a string, grudgingly expressing respect, and said, you are the pride of Jinhai, I wouldn't dare to doubt you. But the beast soul awakened by Lin Yuan has been rated as an Irang talent. I think everyone here understands what this means. Yao Muxian continued to bullshit, trying to win the favor of the audience, who, however, were not becoming more favorable towards him. How could he pass 10 levels with such a soul? Whyy. I think Examiner Zhao should at least publish the video of candidate Lin Yuan's battle to convince the public. This brat has lost his nerve. Zhao Shana frowned and replied, according to the bylaws of the Beast Soul Palace, examiners are forbidden from revealing information about the candidates, except in special circumstances. But Wu Muxian didn't want to give up. Since the fucking video can't be published, there are other ways to authenticate the results. He finally had something to interest blazing with fake justice. He turned to the chief examiner, let us make a duel. If he wins, he will prove the purity of his mark. But if he loses, it will be enough to prove that his grade was obtained through unfair means. After saying this, Wu Muxian made a victorious face. The crowd became animated. Sumu Shui, angered, exclaimed, what a nasty man, doing whatever he wants to humiliate you. I calmly looked at her and softly said, nothing. Lin Yuan gave his assessment of the situation. His thoughts are clear. He wants to seize the chance to fight you and then prove to everyone that you're a loser. That was just what I needed. Things were about to get back to normal. Wu Muxian, portraying integrity, sweetly addressed the teacher, Examiner Zhao, challenge on the grounds of the 3 Palace. It's not forbidden, is it? That's right, replied the master, but you should also ask your opponent's opinion. The crowd behind me was stirring and whispering. They were all waiting for my decision. But I'd made it as soon as I'd gotten the call. Do you dare to fight? Asked Wu Muxian threateningly. Beggar, he didn't realize what he was getting into. Sumu Shui said with a note of excitement in her voice, if you're not sure, you can refuse. Cutie, this kind of thing doesn't work like that. I told her, if someone provokes you, there's no use tolerating it. The only way to make him afraid is to break his bones. Raising my hand, I said loudly, I'll take the fight. The crowd cheered. The crowd shouted, overflowing with anticipation for the upcoming spectacle. There were both voices of confidence in my victory and bets on Wu Muxian's victory. One thing was certain, there were no indifferent people, and no one could give an unambiguous prediction. The chief examiner spoke again. His voice was hard to compete with even the excited crowd, so his words could be heard in every corner of the square. I believe that this fight is unnecessary. Both of you are the pride of Jinhai City. There is no need to fight to the death. The examiner, as if carving every word out of a rock, continued, "As I was saying, I was able to personally verify that Lin Yuan did not cheat during the exam." Wu Muxian was very angry, jealous that everyone he respects or fears is standing up for me. "Since that's the case, fight me. Examiner Zhao, please BCOME witness this battle. I'll show you how I'll tear him to shreds," Wu Muxian spat angrily. Seeing that this idiot had a broken record, the chief examiner sighed and said, "So be it. Your duel will take place in the arena of the Beast Soul Palace. Everyone is welcome to see this fight." The arena of the Beast Soul Palace roared in anticipation of the most interesting fight. The stands were crowded. Wu Muxian and I stood opposite each other in the center of the arena. The chief examiner stood between us. As usual, Judge Zhao Shana had to explain the rules first. "This battle is only a sparring," came the strong voice of the examiner over the hushed arena. "You may give your best, but you may not kill. The fight will end as soon as one side admits defeat. The use of any foreign objects is prohibited. Violation means disqualification. Is that clear?" "Yes," Wu Muxian and I exclaimed at the same time. We couldn't wait to kick each other's asses. "All right, then I'll declare the start of the battle." Wu Muxian felt the need to say that everything that was happening was my fault. Well, then to cheer him up a bit, I suggested that he ask for mercy so that I would consider not feeding him inferior crystals. After all, they could come up with a better use for them. "That's great!" That fired him up good. "Die!" he yelled with all his might. "Merging with the beast soul. Now you can see what this bastard is worth." After merging with the beast soul, Wu Muxian turned into a huge skeleton with the skull of a lizard, the claws of a crab, and the fangs of a saber-toothed tiger. The spectators were impressed by such a huge beast appearing in the arena. The 5-meter-long reptilian skeleton king showed with its imposing appearance that Wu Muxian had not just won the 3rd place in the beast test for nothing. The monster immediately tried to grab me with its claws, but I was alert and dodged the deadly grip. The monster's eyes blazing with anger did not take his gaze off me. Scum, afraid to merge with the beast's soul, the monster tried to play on my emotions. The audience also didn't understand why I didn't use fusion, because without it my chances of winning were too slim. Sumu Shui was also watching the fight closely. She believed in my strength, but if Wu Muxian dared to harm me, Sumu Shui was ready to take full revenge. Lin Yuan was giving the girl mental support, trying to convey to her the understanding that I will not lose to Wu Muxian. Well, since everyone is so fixated on this transformation, I decided to give the audience and my enemy what they wanted to see. "Merge!" I shouted and felt the familiar feeling of expansion and weighting of the body, as well as the streams of energy that flowed into it and filled it up. Here I am, the real me. When I stopped feeling the transformation, I looked around and found my opponent, a pathetic reptilian skeleton, down ahead of me. The entire arena opened its mouth in astonishment. "The question, is this a rank E beast soul?" resounded from everywhere. My rival, looking at me and imbued with fear, could not believe in my so rapid growth. But now he would have to believe. Looking at my perplexed opponent, I saw how pathetic he was in trying to figure out what had happened to my beast soul. Then I shouted deafeningly, questioning everyone who said that an E-rank soul has to be weaker than an S-rank soul, and after saying that, I struck a blow to my opponent's head with an overhand blow. But this was no weak desert wolf from the beast test. This S_rank beast knew how to dodge. At the place where the skeleton king was just now, a hole was formed from my blow, from which the soil was flying around in 100-kilogram chunks. Impressed by my strength, a thought flashed through Wu Muxian's mind like lightning. If he had hit me with his claw, I would have become a Kalika. Looking at my claws, the skeleton king thought to himself, "Lin Yuan has the strength of a beast soul general, and no less. But that's impossible." His mental dialogue with himself continued. To rise to such a level in just a few days? Looking at my lightning-fast approaching paw with murderous claws, Wu Muxian realized that he wouldn't have time to dodge in time, and while he had mere moments before my clawed paw arrived, he resented, "Oh, come on, how can I, a reptilian skeleton king, lose to such an E-rank scum?" rang through his mind, and he swung for a retaliatory strike. Unexpectedly, he dared to fight back. Seeing that I reacted lightning fast to his threat, the skeleton king lost the thread of what was happening. A violent pop sounded as our battle limbs made hard contact, testing the eardrums of our spectators to the limit. Realizing that I was continuing to hold him down and not doing anything about it yet, he yelled, what the hell are you trying to do? Picking up the reptilian skeleton king by his claw, I slammed him to the ground with all my might. What do you think? I cheered as I watched the skeleton king sprawl on the ground. Now he's completely in my hands, or rather paws. Time to get on with the fun. Taking the bony one by the tail, I lifted him up again and slammed his spine into the ground. Well, if he doesn't resist, he doesn't mind. And I continued to pound the ground with the skeleton at my pleasure. The reptilian skeleton king was stunned and exhausted. His body had no strength left even for normal movements, and he was completely at my mercy. I could rest now. I looked down at my powerful paw, and was pleased to note that it didn't have a scratch on it. The crowd roared, "Lin Yuan has defeated Wu Emotian. Is that his true strength?" It turns out the examiner wasn't favoring Lin Yuan, he was defending Wu Emotian. Sumu Shua came to her senses, enjoying and admiring my strength. Such a strong Yang soul is astonishing. Wu Emotian, even after receiving the most powerful slaps, did not want to accept reality. "I can't believe that my S-rank beast soul is weaker than the E-rank," he shouted with all his might. "Well, for those who doubt me, I have one more solid punch." The skeleton king's bones crunched so hard it seemed as if they would shatter in the next instant. "You lost," I said to the reptilian skeleton king, holding his newly severed tail in my paw. "Who said that?" snapped my almost defeated foe. I noticed a small ball on the lizard skeleton king's tongue, which then immediately disappeared into his mouth as soon as he swallowed it. He was cheered up like he'd just been warming up for the last 10 minutes instead of getting a beating. Zhao Shanha, as an experienced master, immediately realized what Wu Emotian had done. He took a blood capsule. It was a pill that could raise the level in a short time. Before my eyes, the reptilian skeleton king's body swelled with dark poisonous matter, and flaming sparks began to run across the surface of his body. He Luan explained that his strength had grown to that of a 3-star beast general. "But he's crazy," added He Luan. "After taking such medicine, it will take a month to recover. He seems to want to defeat you at all costs." "He's just a clown," I added. Zhao Shanha's thunderous voice resounded over the arena. "Wu Emotian, you are declared the loser for violating the rules of combat. And you're even more useless than I imagined." I told my opponent honestly what I thought of him. "Well, now he'll be at least a threat to me. The more honorable it will be for me to defeat him." My opponent roared with a burst of energy at the top of his voice, "I'm going to kill you." At least he was a little more alert now. Wu Emotian wondered in his mind why Lin Yuan was so calm. After all, it was now obvious that he was weaker than him. Feeling the trembling earth shudder from the streams of energy flowing towards me, Wu Emotian became nervous, not realizing what kind of power I was using. The only option left for the reptilian skeleton king was to launch one last attack. With all his strength in his fist, he came at me. But he was too late. The preparation of my equipment was complete. An incredibly powerful stream of light and energy knocked the skeleton king off his feet and dragged him away with it. The concentrated beam of energy left no chance to counterattack or continue the fight. Stopped with tremendous force by the impact against the arena wall, along which cracks went, the opponent froze motionless. Suddenly, a battered Wu Emotian in human form appeared in front of us. He no longer had the strength to maintain the fusion once again. Zhao Shanha's powerful voice resounded over the arena. I officially declare that this fight was won by Lin Yuan. Moreover, Wu Emotian took illegal drugs during the fight to artificially increase his strength. The crowd went wild at what they saw. Now no one could ever think that my results were fake. The chief examiner ordered the defeated man to the infirmary. His assessment, based on experience, was that the injuries were not fatal, but that the side effects of the drug would keep the loser in bed for a couple of months. The workers who carried Wu Emotian away lamented his fate. After such a thing, no famous university would accept him. One of them rightly said, "What you sow is what you reap." Zhao Shanha scrutinized me from head to toe. "Congratulations on winning the duel," he said proudly. I courteously replied, "Thank you." "For what?" the examiner asked. "You gave me the opportunity to traumatize him," I replied with a smile. "The thing is, he should have stopped me in time, but he didn't do it, kid. I'm actually not only the chief examiner, but also a member of the admissions committee of the Beast University in Mo City." "Yeah, I didn't expect such a twist of fate." "Do you want to join us?" the chief examiner asked me in a friendly manner. This sentence surprised and interested me at the same time. I knew that He Luan was lurking nearby for the summer and listening with his mouth open. Zhao continued, the most prestigious beast universities are in Yanjing and Mo City. Only the best of the best get in there. Well, I wasn't hooked by such a simple sale. I asked, Teacher Zhao, you recruit people for your own profit, right? And I'm the best in Jinhai, right? My cleverness surprised Zhang. Is this kid normal? Does he owe money to the university? These thoughts kept swarming in his head. But I was interested in a fashionably more comfortable position, not the minimum. I gently asked, that first-class school must have, can it provide specific conditions? The stipend payments of weapons, high-grade crystals, and beast soul capsules interested me greatly. When I converted the value of all this into coins, it was a lot of money. He Luan urged me to take my time and think it over. Zhao said it was the best the university had to offer. Suddenly, our conversation was interrupted by a call. Zhao Shan, shameless. Who would allow themselves to address such a powerful man like that? A white-haired man with a long braid and wearing protective shoulder pads and a long blue cloak appeared in front of us. The recruitment campaign hasn't even started yet, and you've already tricked this kid? It was the representative of Yanjing Beast University, Master Cheng Yu. Zhao objected to him, Cheng Yu, don't talk nonsense. Can't the young givers go to any other university but yours? But this tone of conversation didn't please Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu turned to me emotionally and said, don't be fooled. Our university is superior to Mo University in many ways. If you enroll with us, you will get twice as much scholarship as Mo University. Witnessing our conversation, the arena spectators were stunned by the richness of Yanjing University. All the students saw with their own eyes what awaits the best students after graduation. Suddenly, Zhao roared angrily, you bastard. How dare you swindle a student right in front of me? His look was very angry immediately. The arena was overtaken by the tiger's mighty roar. Zhao Shan, who are you trying to scare? These guys were worth a lot to each other. The colossal energies of the high-ranked masters collided and the arena split into two halves of the battlefield. Because I was in the middle, I was under pressure from both of these colossi and I could barely resist it. But suddenly a third player intervened in the situation. Hey, you two, said a voice not much calmer than the two of them. It belonged to a full-figured man who looked like a barrel-chested man with a straw hat. But behind him he had the distinct energy of a boar. What are you doing here? He continued to ask unceremoniously. Suddenly, I felt that he had suppressed the auras of the big fierce bear and the ghostly void tiger. So this fatty's strength is higher than Zhao Shana and Cheng Yu? Turning to me and looking through the slits of his invisible eyes said to me, child, go to Sichuan Beast University now. He was offering 2.5 times as much as Cheng Yu. I wouldn't be lying if I said that we spare no effort in developing our talents, the fat man said to me in an enticing voice. Yes, he made me realize that this university was really rich. Suddenly, a bunch of latecomers from other universities showed up, offering me admission to their university and no other. They only wanted me as an advertisement. Stop making noise. With one growl, Cheng Yu silenced everyone. Lin Yuan, what do you think? After a little thought, I said, I am grateful to all of you, but I am very sorry. Other than Yanjing Beast University and Beast University of Mo City, I am not considering other organizations. The fat man, tipping his hat in farewell, said, if you change your mind, you can come to me anytime. I thanked him sincerely, for the offer of such a man was very valuable. Zhao Shana and Cheng Yu shouted at me in one voice, tell me who you choose. Both of them were eager to hear my decision. Those two were definitely old rivals. I told them something that made them burn with impatience. I will say BAM's CBOE decision before the primary campaign begins, and folded my hands in respect. They both kindly advised me to think carefully about my decision. I had no intention of doing otherwise. As I left, I laughed a little at their argument about who had stolen me from whom. In the blink of an eye, the arguments between two strong and experienced masters became threats of physical violence. Even after moving far enough away, they continued to argue heatedly. As usual, He Luan jumped out of nowhere. My beast hurried me to open the silver chest that the system had given me for obtaining the rank of general. Before I could figure out how to get to it, I had a new interlocutor. A happy Sumu Shui admired my success. You're so cool, now you're #1 in the city, and the popular universities are fighting over you. So which university will you choose? I think you should choose either Yinjin University or Animal University in Mo City. Don't you want to go to the same place as me? I was very pleased to hear that. But in order not to give this beauty a warm hand, I said it would be great, but I'll think about it some more. Sumu Shuai shared her opinion. Objectively, Yinjin University is stronger, but I will choose the university in Mo City. I wondered why, so I asked her about it. A little saddened, the girl said, because there are some people in Yinjing that I don't want to see. After saying that, her eyes looked somewhere far away. Well, then let's not hurt her feelings. It was the end of an interesting and busy day, and it was time for me to go home. When I opened the silver chest, I got 10,000 evolution points. That's pretty cool, but that wasn't all. The weapon of the rank of general was the flaming claw. The beautiful and intimidating weapon was crowned with golden magnificent claws, and a marvelous purple gradient went to the hilt, but it wasn't just good in appearance. When this weapon attacked an enemy, fire would appear on the claws, which would deal extra damage. Lin Yuan was very happy with this thing, pouting at my calm reaction. Lin Yuan, to make me better appreciate what I have, said that a weapon of this level is worth hundreds of thousands of coins, but he also told me that higher ranked weapons could cost even more. And my next personal goal was already clear: to reach Lord rank as soon as possible. I asked Lin Yuan for advice on universities. A weasel like him should definitely have a good amount of information about it. Lin Yuan replied, Yangzheng University produces strong masters, and the university in Mo City produces mega masters. Plus you'll love it there. Why would I asked him. Because they put warfare above all else, replied the beast. Everything is based on strength. They created 3 special rankings: Hiding Dragon, Beast Lord, and Beast God. If Yinjing University is a park for strong masters, Mo University is a hard collision. With this, Lin Yuan helped me finally choose my place of study. Of course I'm going to go to the Beast University in Mo City.